Now, what we're going to learn about is recorder and manual code. So we know that every software takes command in codes, right? But we don't see it, we just see the human language. But inside, it's just computer codes. Even when I have this female, this is also done in numbers. In binary, it's just 0, 1, and then it just differs, okay? So now you can see that I have VB opened up right beside my Excel so that you can see that how the codes work and how VB or the commands take place, okay? Even if it's gonna be on human language, but you can see the codes, okay, how it works. So what we're gonna do first is turn on VB right beside your Excel interface, and you might want to like minimize it or maybe run like overlaying Excel, but I prefer like minimizing it and then keeping VBA right beside my Excel interface. So what we're gonna do first is just go to developer and then just go to Visual Basics and then just turn it on. You can see sheet 1, sheet 2, sheet 3 because I've been using these sheets for the past 3 lessons, and for an example this is quite good for me. So what we're gonna do first is we're gonna get to know that how recording like record macro works, and we're also gonna see like how manual codes work. You can like, so it's just about how macro automatically records all your codes and how we're gonna manually edit those codes, okay, or manually putting them. So first off, what we're gonna start is go into manual, or I mean auto codes, okay? So we know that cell reference, we're not gonna use it again. We're just gonna do like how we do formats and auto record macros. So firstly, what I'm gonna do first is being on the sheet and then start just recording a macro. Now I'm gonna record the macro as color, okay? Color, and then just press on OK. Now as I added a macro, you seen that there was no module, but now there is a module, okay? So what I'm gonna do is select all of them, or maybe just select, okay, let's just select all of them, just go to home, and now as I'm gonna color them, what I'm gonna do is just add in color. And as I can't see the borders, I'm gonna do is click on borders, all border, and what I'm gonna do is, in fact, if I want it to be changed in a font like people or whomever I'm giving it to, in like an example they want impact, okay, you can see that all of them are now formatted. And now I also want it, or the people want it to be 14 and also want the lines to be aligned, okay. What I'm gonna do is align all of them. Now as you can see that all of them is done. Now what I'm gonna do is just go to developer and then stop recording the macros. Now as it's done, when you go to modules, you can see that there are a lot of things that has been done. An example, like I have this interior X solid pattern, which was solid, which was color and tint and shade 0 pattern tint shade, and with this and another and a lot of them like I did. So you can see that all of them happened, right? And when you like, as it's all done, you can see that there are a lot of codes and commands which is started with. So first thing which we're going to learn first is that all of them are codes. And now you can see that at the end there's end sub, and also there is sub color, okay. It started with the sub, okay, which was the start, okay, sub. So this is the first and that is the end of the macro, and there is this punctuate, I mean these are the quotation marks, okay. These are, and you can also see that this is colored in green. And why are they green? Even if I type in something X set green, you can see that this has also turned green. So why are these green? Well, these green fonts or green texts are called commenting, text commenting, okay, and the other ones are code and end with, and there you can see that there are a lot of things that are going on. So if I go to sheet number 1 and then just go to macro and then just press on run, okay, debug, okay, X solid. So I'm just gonna do is just go to macros, run, and oh sorry, this is braked, my bad. So let's just make it more easier, okay? This is kind of like tough, but what I'm gonna do is like remove all the formatting, or maybe what I'm gonna do is just go take a bit of data, go to sheet 3 and just paste it, okay? Now what I'm gonna do is just change the fonts. You can see that these are how macros actually record all the codes. If I want to make the course more beginner friendly, let's just do with the font, okay? Or maybe like increasing the font. So let's start with like increasing and or maybe bold and like just the font, okay? So first I'm gonna do is just go to developer and then start adding in modules, okay? You can see that this module is already turned, or if you just go here and just press run, you can see that this is an error, which we don't want right now. So what we're gonna do is just do a basic one. We'll go through the debugging and all of them later on. So as we don't want that, just go with the basics. What we're gonna do first is turn on this record macro, let it be macro 2, let it be control H as I usually use. So firstly what I'm gonna do is select them, and then what I'm gonna do is go to home. And now firstly what I'm gonna do is go to 14 and change it to which one we used. Okay, let's just go with Cooper Black. So now all of them are done. Now just go to developer and then stop the recording. Now when you open this module 1, you will see that there is another macro that has been done, and there is the page break, okay? Now you can see that all of these codes are done, and you can see the commenting and the sub and the end sub. So how do these work? And you can see that there are a lot of codes. Some of them are totally unnecessary, to be honest. And so what I'm gonna do first is you can see that there is cell select application, selection of font with selection of font name, size, strike through false, superscript false, subscript false, outline, font false, shadow false, underline, X underline, style none, tint and shade. These are all unnecessary. This is like they are telling you, okay, you don't have shaders, you don't have subscript, you don't have superscript, no strike through, but only name and size, which are like really important, and all of them are like not important at all. So what we're gonna do is like delete some of them. You can just delete this, and what we're gonna do is just keep them, or you can just also add it right over here. That's also like doable. You can application cut mode copy, just delete that, and cell select, let it be just cell select. You can also delete this end width and this is just coding methods, like how you're gonna put on the codes, okay? So except for that, you don't need any of those. Just delete them, okay? And now also let them just be them. Now what I'm gonna do is go to, like, as this is saved already, I'm gonna make another macro with another one, okay? Let's just take some data from here, control C, let's go here, and now what I'm gonna do is make another font, okay? My bad. Okay, let's just do another one. So let it be control J, macro 3. I'm gonna do first is select all of them, go to home. Now let's just change the font, that's it. Let it be agency FFC or whatever it's called, FB, my bad. Now just go to developer and then stop recording the macro. Now as it stopped, you can see that there is another one. We will just delete all the unnecessary ones, just delete them. You can also take this one. Okay, let it be it. Now what I'm gonna do is just run on another macro, as this is already saved. So what I'm gonna do is just press Control plus H here, and now you can see that this is done, and you can see that this is how your macro works and how coding works. Now if I want like another one, which is the FB agency FB one, so I'm gonna just press Control plus J, and you can see it has turned on or turned off. the previous one. You can also run your macro from here instead of just going through here and your shortcut key. And now what I was doing is, you can also delete this. This will be totally fine. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is run it through here. So what I'm gonna do is just take your cursor right over here, and now what I'm gonna do is just press this key here, which is run sub, or you can also break or reset. Okay, when you run it from here, you will see that the macro is also run or ran from here. It's not a problem. You can also run it from here. That's also not a problem. Now what we're gonna do is break one of them. Okay, take a break. Now what we want is, if you want to add in manual codes, you can also do it. So as I don't want any problems with it, what I'm going to do is just copy the basic of the texts, just Control C. Then what I'm going to do is add in a new module, which is, what I'm going to do is edit, my bad, insert. So what I'm going to do is add in a module. What I'm going to do is just press and Control V, and now you can see that you can just add in codes manually. If you don't want this, you can just select whichever font you want or whichever format you want. An example now I want is Consolas. Okay, Consols. You have to remember or keep the alphabets like perfect, or you won't get the results. Okay, Consolas. Now if I change it to Consolas. Now if I tap here, now you can see that the macro is run from here. So this is how auto macro works and manual code or manual macro works. You can add in more and more formula, or even formula and also functions and all of the formattings you want to do manually too, and just run it from here instead of just going through Excel and doing all the commands and other things. You can just do it from here. So it makes sometimes, like, maybe people might find it like a bit complex, but if you go through it, you might get like a lot of experience from coding and also other stuffs. You can just also cut them, but you have to remember just end. You have to keep it subble. Okay, and sub. If you just type in end sub, that is a command which is end sub, so it means that the sub or the macro is ended. If you don't, then you can add in more and more commands. Okay, an example, if you want like the number of sheets which I've shown you in the immediate cell or immediate windows, you can also add in that, but just keep in mind to like end the sub. Okay, so this is how it works. So now let's move on to the next lesson.